Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I want to be a famous DJ, travel around Europe and play sets in Ibiza. That's the answer I once received when I interviewed a person. So in today's video we will talk about red flags or what not to do if you want to land your dream job. If you're new to this channel, I'm Karina. I have transformed my career from finance to data and now help others to do the same one step at a time. Let's talk about interviews. The first red flag is negativity about your previous employer. Don't badmouth your previous employer. If you do that, me as an interviewer will think that you will do the same about me in the future. Focus on lessons learned and growth opportunities at your current job. At the interview, you will be asked why you want to change your job. And in case you really hate your toxic environment and that's the real reason, unfortunately, you have to come up with a better, more applicable one. So you can say that there are no growth opportunities for you, or that you're up for new challenges, that's why you want to work in a new industry or in a new company. Focus on what you are hoping to gain from your new role. Problem number 2 is a lack of preparation. Don't show up to an interview without researching about the company and the role. There are some cases when it's very hard to find any information about the company, when it is a small startup, they haven't launched yet, or they try not to disclose exactly what they're doing. Usually in those cases, when you come at an interview, the interviewer will start with the fact that I assume you probably haven't researched enough of our company and I will give you a debrief of who we are. But try to make your own research. Find social media of this company, find their LinkedIn profile and see what they're working on, what they're posting. No one expects you to know all the details about their products, but every company hopes that they are the one, that you really want to work for them. That's why you try to download their app, you went on their website. Maybe you're already a user of that company if we're talking about products. Let's say this company is a digital bank. At least you need to know the difference between digital banks and traditional banks, and also what are the major competitors of this company. This preparation will not take you long, maybe 30 minutes, 1 hour of just going through website, a bit of Googling, reading articles, and just familiarizing yourself with the industry and the company and the role. Next red flag is inappropriate attire. You need to be dressed properly, and from my experience, it's better to be overdressed than underdressed. If I tell you a story from my personal experience, the first big company I worked for was KPMG. And when I went through all the series of interviews, the last one is when you come to sign your contract. It was plus 40 degrees outside, it was super hot summer day, and I was wearing half transparent blouse. And I remember I was signing my contract with HR and she looked at me and said, please never wear this blouse to work again. For all my interview rounds, I was wearing white shirt, black pants, jacket, but for some reason, because it was so hot, I just decided that it's appropriate because I'm already your employee and it's appropriate for me to wear something very light on a hot day. If this happened today, what I would have done, I probably would have changed right before entering the office. I would have gone to the bathroom somewhere in a shopping mall and changed from my current outfit to more appropriate outfit. But I was more young, naive, and don't do that. You don't need to wear anything fancy for your job interview. You can wear just something classic, black and white, always works, white shirt and a black pants or skirt. First impression really matters, so think about your attire. The next problem is poor time management. Of course, you don't need to be late, but being too early is also bad. In my personal experience, I interviewed a person who rocked up 2 hours beforehand, and it was also very, very awkward because as we were still having meetings and calls and running around the office, and you have this person quietly sitting there waiting for you to finish and finally interview him. Don't come hours earlier, but of course don't be late. The best option is to come 10-15 minutes earlier before your interview. It will allow you to go through all unexpected problems like going through security checks, finding the right room. So don't come late, but don't come too early. The next problem is lack of engagement. Don't give short and interesting responses or fail to ask questions. Unfortunately, you have to play the game at your interview, so you need to show the interest with your body language, enthusiasm through asking questions, and you have to give detailed answers. Next problem, oversharing of personal details. And that's an example I mentioned at the beginning of this video, when a person said that he wants to be a DJ and he doesn't want to work for the company. He just wants to actually travel the world and play in sets in Ibiza. I'm very happy for this person, but it's not the right fit. Also, another interview where a girl was interviewed for position of personal assistant, and when you ask what are your weaknesses, her answer was, I have terrible time management and I always forget things. Actually, when you're looking for personal assistant, you're looking for someone who can manage your calendar, book things, and always remind you about the things you forget. Her weaknesses are the worst weaknesses to have for a personal assistant. On the one hand, I appreciate her honesty. On the other hand, I will never hire a person like that for a personal assistant. So when you discuss information, keep it professional and relevant to the job. Of course, if you get asked about your family, if you are married, if you have kids, where you live, of course you need to answer, but don't go into many details. Next problem is lack of specific examples. Don't provide vague or general answers about your skills and experiences. Instead, use the method called a STAR method. STAR method is situation, task, action, result. It helps to give you concrete examples of your achievements. The next one is overconfidence and arrogance. You need to display a balance between humility and confidence and willingness to grow. If you're very arrogant and confident, it might come across that it's not easy to work with you, you're not a good team member, you will probably be difficult. Next one, a failure to ask question. At the end of the job interview, you are usually asked, are there any questions you want to ask us? And the best practice is to start asking the questions. So you can ask anything about the team, it can be anything about the culture. You can ask how day-to-day life as a data scientist will look like. You can ask about work-life balance. I personally don't like working for big corporate companies. I prefer working for startups, and I like that culture, that vibe, the drive. When I go to interviews, at the end of the interview, I'm asking, what do you like the most about working for the company? And based on the answer, it gives me understanding of the culture in the company. So when people answer with a very generic corporate phrases, I understand that I'm not the best fit for this company because it's not what I like. And usually with this question, people open up and become normal and explain what they enjoy, and they might open up what the culture looks like, if there is a work-life balance. That helps me to understand what I can expect from working there and what my future will look like, also giving me understanding of the person I will be working with. The next thing not to do is inappropriate use of humor. Don't be excessively casual. Some strange jokes or sarcasm might come across the wrong way. So keep your humor very light, be smiley, try to be yourself, but don't make any jokes, especially sarcastic one. The next red flag is a lack of follow-up. Send a personalized thank you note after 24 hours of your interview. It's a little touch, but it's always nice as an interviewer to receive this thank you note. Maybe you can also go into details of what you learned about the company. Use some of the phrases of things that interviewer mentioned. It immediately shows me that the person was listening to me, and it is an extra point for you. And the hugest red flag, dishonesty and exaggeration. Don't lie about your experience. I can't stress enough how important this bit is. Imagine you were hired, but then people find out that you lied about some of your experiences. It shakes the trust in your relationship, and then people start questioning if anything you said is actual truth. That happened to me as well. At the interview, person said that he is pursuing his PhD, and we were very supportive of it. But once the person started working, he came up and said that he needs to take a couple of weeks off for his exams. But there are no exams at PhD, there are exams when you're pursuing your bachelor and masters. And this is how we found out that he actually not doing PhD, he is doing his bachelor, so then he can get masters and then to get PhD. So the person lied about his education, And it's not a matter of that he had PhD or not, and we would have never asked for diploma to check the truth. This is a pretty big thing to lie about, so then you start questioning anything else you've heard. Does this person have any experience? Those people we called and checked references, are they just friends? Are they real people or some fake ones? Please don't lie during your interview. For example, you don't have a real work experience in your area, but you've done plenty of projects, you have a great portfolio. Say about that. Say that you've done those projects for portfolio, you practice, but you didn't have a chance yet to implement it in a real company. At the interview, talk about your past experiences and projects you worked on, and to showcase your projects, you need to have a portfolio. If you want to know how to create a perfect portfolio, this is the next video that you need to watch.